Hey everybody, thank you for pressing play. In this video we're looking at this car here. This is Honda Civic. It's a 1.6, it's an automatic version, it's a 9-speed version, and it's also a premium version as well. And this is definitely one of the last diesel automatics that Honda are going to make, so if you're ever thinking about it, this is probably one of the last chances you're ever going to get to buy a car like this. It's got a really high spec and it's an economical diesel. Brian is my name. In this video we're going to look around this car in terms of features on the outside, the inside, and we're going to go for a drive in the car as well. And by the end of the video you'll have a good idea about the Honda Civic Automatic and also about this premium specification. Anyway, as usual, I'm fighting the darkness, so let's start off by some of the dark areas which is inside. The boot is massive. You pull back this cover and it allows great flexibility to get awkward stuff in and out of the boot of the car. And the other thing as well is if you drop those seats down forward, you get a really big load area, basically similar to a car style van. In terms of the back of the car, actually there's a leaf, get rid of that. Some of the practical stuff in terms of the back, nice leather coating along the door, brushed aluminium looks nice along here, and then after that there's a tweeter. And there's a speaker down through there as well. And then this car has other tweeters up here either side of the passenger in the rear. That's quite cool. There's a really good stereo system on the car. It's got nice black leather, this car, and it's really super conditioned because the car is pretty much as new. There's three head restraints across the back, three 3-point safety belts, and this armrest with drinks holders in the middle, and there's ISO fixed points on either side along through here as well. And in terms of overall size in these cars, actually they're quite good. We actually own a car like this. It's a 1 litre petrol, but it's the exact same interior at the rear, so the headroom is good in the back, legroom's good as well. And I just find it really easy to load the child in using the ISOFIX. And the other thing as well is the windows are, quite dark in the back, and it looks really nice. But they're actually quite practical as well. And it's only something to realise when you have kids, actually, to stop the sun beating in on top of the rise. Because it's a premium model, so it has the sunroof, and it just actually makes that cabin a lot more lighter than a normal model. There's keyless entry for getting in and out of the car, so I can leave this key in my pocket. Got a button here which allows me to lock the doors of the car, and then in terms of getting in, I literally just place my hand in along here and you can see it just pops open, recognises my hand is there. And then if you come back, if you lock it once and if you lock it a second time, it'll also fold in those wing mirrors. And the key also has the functionality to let the sunroof open and the windows down, or alternatively close everything up as well, and you can control the lights from the key as well. In terms of the inside, like we're saying to you, this is a really nice high specification because it's a premium and it's automatic as well. So we're going to go for a drive in the car and have a look around some of the features that are on the inside of the vehicle as well. So you'll have a really good idea of what's going on in this car by the time we're finished. This is an electrochromatic rear mirror, and this is a panoramic sunroof is what it's called, with two functions, which means it'll tilt upwards and it'll also slide backwards as well. And if you don't want the sun beating on top of you, you got this cover which you can fold back regardless of whether the sunroof is open or closed. Because it's keyless entry then, it actually has a push button start along here, and you can see when you start it over here, you also get this blind spot indicator. If someone comes up in your quarter panel and they're out of your view, this lights up to warn you you're there. Very useful on a motorway. Down through here then, you got controls for parking sensors and forward collision radars, things basically that are going to try to keep you within the lanes and also to stop you from crashing into the back of someone if you're not paying attention. Over through here then we have the gearbox with various buttons rather than a stick, which is quite easy once you get used to it. And in terms of driving the car then, it does have some sporty abilities, so if you press the D button, it actually goes into a sport mode, which is much more aggressive. And there's also a sport suspension button along through here as well, which stiffens the stroke of the shock. It basically makes it stiffer, which is improved road handling on roads when you're driving more aggressively. So like we're saying along here, we can go into an S mode, which makes it more aggressive in terms of the gear changes. And there's also little paddles on the steering wheel, we'll see as well, either on the left or the right hand side if you want to go up or down through the gears. Anyway, when you're cruising, you got things over here like heated seats, so passenger and driver get heated seats. Actually, the passenger seat unusually gets a lumbar support function, which is quite rare. There is a digital setup for the heating in through here, so touch and swipe, pretty easy to use, and then it's dual zone climate control, so you can have different temperatures on each side of the car, which is quite useful, I think, because men and women are usually quite different that way, I think. The screen in the centre also then is useful for things like navigation, so it's Garmin navigation, but you can use Google Maps as well. And there's also things like functionality for audio, so you can stream music via Bluetooth, or there's two USB connectors in the car as well. There's also Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which again, if you want to use Spotify, is quite useful. And over through there then, just basic Bluetooth functions as well for calls. But again, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay I think was superseded for a lot of people. Anyway, parking sensors on the front and the rear. So you can see up here, it gives me two warnings that I've got the problem in front of me. When I go for reverse, I also get a camera, and it'll also give me a warning behind when I got too close to something. And actually the camera on this one, because it's a premium, it actually tells me of problems outside my visual field, which is quite cool as well, I think. Over here then, cruise control functions, which means you can follow the car in front front. You can lock onto the car in front and it'll follow the car in front, which is really cool, and lane keep functions to keep you dead centre on the lanes. There's also a speed sign recognition system as well. So on the left hand side up here, you'll see it tells you the speed zone, and you can get the speed limiter to respect that as well when it sees a speed sign. These are controls for the IMID, so that's average speed and fuel efficiency and how much fuel is left in the car and lots of other things. After that then, the paddles we talked about are just tucked in behind here, and there's also things like automatic wipers and automatic lights, and the automatic lights for daytime, nighttime, but they also dip when they meet traffic at nighttime as well, which is pretty nice too. And these cars have loads of safety functions like airbags front and side and down in the side of the seat, and even things like anti-whiplash head restraints, which means you can bring these forward to reduce how much your head moves in the event of a rear end impact, which is pretty cool. And all these doors have side impact protection bars. I have to say I actually prefer the automatic because it is 120 horsepower engine, same as the manual, but it makes way better use of the power. There's so many gears, it's always able to access the power band much better than its manual counterpart. That's why I really enjoy driving the car. So you can cruise along, because I think it's a really good cruiser, this car, but on a back road like this you can actually enjoy the sporty element of that gearbox, and you can see you can manipulate it, and even things like the suspension as well. So it's quite an enjoyable car to drive, and it's set on the road nice because it's got independent suspension front and rear. So it's a nice car which makes you confident when you're driving the car, which I think is important. And it's a nice cabin to sit in too, so when you're looking around, nice functions, but just a nice place to be, especially with this big bright sunroof over your head as well. And it's lovely when you open it, especially on something like a nice summer's evening. And just to give you an idea, they accelerate really well. Even on this, I'm not even killing the car. I haven't even gone for the most optimal way of getting up to speed, but from 0 up as far as 100 kilometers an hour, it's really, really brisk, especially compared to its manual counterpart. And like what we said, there's excellent speakers in the car, so speakers in the door, tweeters up here, and another speaker up through here. It's got a premium audio system. It's a really good system. The other nice features I like, aluminium pedals down here, and also this USB and HDMI connectors in under here, underneath the gearbox, and another USB connector down through here as well, which is quite useful too. And the steering wheel is rake reach, so it goes in and out and up and down, and we have lumbar support for the driver and the passenger as well, and a height adjuster on through here as well. And a really cool looking car on the outside. These are not your average car. There's something a bit different. Pull up into a petrol station, it's not like a Golf or a Focus or other cars in the segment. It's something different. That's what I really like about these cars. Something different. You drive up and down the road, you get sick of looking at the same stuff. This is a cool looking car, catches people's attention, and actually I see the next model of these cars coming through, and I think it's more subdued and not as aggressive looking. If you drive behind one of these at night time with those big LED taillights, it's something unusual. It really, really stands out. And things like even the two spoilers, while they are practical, they channel air off the rear of the car in an aerodynamic way, they look cool as well. So I think that is a nice car. It's a big cruiser of a car. It looks cool, it's well equipped. So it's definitely something, there's somebody out there that's going to really enjoy this car. And like I was saying to you, this is the last chance you're ever going to have to buy a big diesel cruiser Civic in a high level of specification. So hopefully you can see I like the car, and you can see the reasons why I actually like the car as well. There you have it. That is, sorry, it's got a bit dark. That's our 9-speed automatic Honda Civic Premium. What's nice about this car is there's a big discount on it. If you look at the brand new price of this car, it was 37 odd, whatever it is, a little over 37,000 euros. And this car is heavily discounted, and there's also a good scrappage deal on it as well. And the car has done 600, at the time of this video, 631 kilometers, so they call it 700 odd kilometers. Like, that's such a big discount off the price of the car, and they don't make these anymore. This is the last time you're able to buy a Civic diesel with all the kit in it and in a 9-speed automatic gearbox as well. This is a lovely cruiser car, and it's a nice alternative to other stuff that's on the road. Instead of buying a big saloon car, something like this, it's got a big boot, it's got a good spec, it's a comfortable car, drives good. It's a great alternative to a big saloon car, I think, as well. Anyway, if you want information on the scrapping of cars or trading in cars or finance or the car itself, please do give me a shout. Brian is my name, 086 843 1945. Call, text, WhatsApp. Hopefully the video is useful, hopefully the car is of interest. Thank you for taking time to watch.